Listening Library presents Ida B. and her plans to maximize fun, avoid disaster, and possibly save the world by Katherine Hannigan. Read for you by Lili Taylor. Chapter 1. Ida B., Mama said to me on one of those days that start right and just keep heading toward perfect until you go to sleep. When you're done with the dishes, you can go play. Daddy and I are going to be working till dinner. Yes, ma'am, I said back, but I said it like this. Yes, ma'am, because I couldn't wait to get on with my business. I could already hear the brook calling to me through the back door screen. Come out and play, Ida B. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I had 3 places I wanted to visit, 6 things I wanted to make, and 2 conversations I hoped to have before dinner time. Mama was washing, Daddy was drying, and I was putting away the dishes from lunch. And I knew that the moment I set the last pan in its place, I was free. But the way those 2 were chatting and laughing and acting like we had till next week to finish up, I could see it was going to be a while. My inside started itching and my feet started hopping, one then the other, because they were 10 minutes past being ready to go. So I decided to speed things up a bit. Daddy'd hand me a dish, I'd sprint to the cupboard and put it away, race back again, and put my hand out for the next one, with my right foot tap, tap, tapping the seconds that were ticking by. Hold your horses, Ida B., Daddy told me. There's plenty of time to do whatever you're planning. And he passed me a plate, slow and easy. Well, that stopped me in my tracks, because what Daddy said might have seemed all right to him, but it was sitting about 2 miles beyond wrong with me. I wasn't going to be able to put away another tiny teaspoon till I set things straight. Daddy, I said, and I waited till he was looking at me before I went on. Yes, Ida B., he answered, turning toward me. And staring right into his eyeballs, I told him, there is never enough time for fun. Daddy's eyes opened wide, and for a half-second I wondered if I was in for something close to trouble. But then the 2 ends of his mouth turned up, just a little. Ida B., he told the ceiling while he shook his head. Mama said, like a smile would sound if it could. And as soon as Daddy handed me the big frying pan, I set it in the drawer next to the oven, and I was on my way. Come on, Rufus, I called to Daddy's old floppy-eared dog, who was napping under the table. You can come too, so you'll have some company. Now, a school of goldfish could go swimming in the pool of drool that dog makes while he's sleeping. But as soon as he heard his name and saw me heading for outside, he jumped up, cleaned up the extra slobber around his mouth, and in 2 1/2 seconds' time, he was waiting for me at the back door. Chapter 2. On my way out of the house, I grabbed a pencil and enough paper to make 4 good drawings and 1 mistake. And in my right pants pocket, I stuffed some string to tie the sticks together for the rafts I build and send down the brook with notes attached to them saying things like, What is life like in Canada? Please respond. Ida B. Applewood, P.O. Box 42, Lawson's Grove, Wisconsin, 55500. Or, if this raft reaches the ocean, will you please let us know? Thank you very much. Applewood Raft Construction Company, P.O. Box 42, Lawson's Grove, Wisconsin, 55500. It is my belief that the brook ends up at one of those 2 places, but I haven't heard anything back yet to prove it. The best I've gotten so far is some old man from way up in Roaring Forks called up Mama and Daddy and told them I was sending out notes with my name and address on them, and they might want to discourage that. And a teacher from Myers Falls, which is the next town over, got a hold of one of my notes and made her whole class find out things about Canada. Boring things like, there are 32 million people, and some of Canada's main exports are timber and aluminum. And they sent all those facts and figures to me in an envelope. Mama made me write a thank you note back, so I drew a picture of a Canadian Mountie holding the Queen of England in his arms, and they're going over Niagara Falls in a wooden barrel, waving aluminum maple leaves, just screaming with glee. Thank you very much for the information, I wrote. Let's all hope they're having some fun over in Canada, too. Yours truly, Ida B. Applewood. So I had my string, my paper, Daddy's dog, and 3 pieces of bubble gum so I could blow a bubble as big as my face while being careful to keep it away from Rufus, because the last time he got near one of those, we were cutting pink gum out of his fur for about a month after, and I headed out to the apple orchard. "Hello, Beulah. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Pastel," I said, which are some of the names I've given those trees. All of the apple trees were full of blossoms, and when you stood right in the middle of them, you could smell their prettiness, but not so much it'd bother you. I was already sitting down under Henry VIII, getting to work on a drawing I'd started the day before. It was the orchard after the harvest, with bushels of apples under all of the trees. There were Mama and Daddy, me, Lulu the cat, and Rufus, each sitting in our own tree, eating slices of apple pie. I was working on Rufus, who had a mix of slobber and crumbs all over him, and Lulu was giving him a look of the utmost revulsion, when I realized that not one of those trees had said anything back to me. Now, some people might stop me right there and say, "Ida B., you could wait for eternity and a day, and you're not going to hear one of those trees talking to you, let alone a brook. Trees don't have mouths, and they don't speak, and you might want to take yourself to the doctor's and get a very thorough checkup real soon." And after I took a minute to give my patience and forbearance a chance to recover my mouth from the rudeness that was itching to jump out of it, I would just say this. There's more than one way to tell each other things, and there's more than one way to listen, too. And if you've never heard a tree telling you something, then I'd say you don't really know how to listen just yet, but I'd be happy to give you a few pointers sometime. So I gave those trees another chance to reply and hollered, "I said hello, everybody! Didn't you hear me?" But instead of the usual chorus of hi's and hey there's, only Viola said, "How are you doing today, Ida B?" "I'm just fine on such a getting-to-perfect day," I said. "What's the matter with everybody? Why are you all so quiet?" But they stayed silent, even the loud ones, especially the rude ones. "Hey, what's going on?" I yelled. Finally, I heard Gertrude whisper, "You tell her, Viola." "All right," Viola whispered back very discreetly. Viola hemmed and hawed for a bit, though. "Well," she started, and... She tried again until she finally got something out. "Ida B., how's everything going at home? How's your fam—" But before she could finish, that punk Paulie T was interrupting. "We heard a rumor that something bad's headed your way, Ida B. And if trees could grin like jack-o'-lanterns with bad intentions, that's what Paulie T would have been doing right then." "And who told you that, Paulie T?" I asked, because I didn't trust him with a thimbleful of water, let alone the truth. "I'm not revealing my sources," he said. "Did you hear something, Viola? How about you, Beatrice? Or is Paulie T just talking out of his branches?" "Ida B., don't pay him any mind," Viola told me. "We heard something on the wind about a storm headed your way, and we were all settling in and hoping you were okay, too. That's all." "There's no storm coming today," I said. "Can't you feel how beautiful it is?" "You take care of yourself now, Ida B.," said Viola. And then they all just stood there, like they were sleeping standing up. Well, I got tired of feeling like I was alone in that particular crowd, and I was peeved about Paulie T's pleasure at my expense. "All right, then. I'm headed off to have some fun somewhere else," I said. And none of them said a word back. Once Rufus and I got to the brook, I asked right off, "Did you hear something about me in some trouble? Did you bring the rafts? Are you ready to play? Get 'em ready and get 'em in so we can play, Ida B," said the brook, ignoring my question. "In a minute. First, I want to know if you heard something about trouble heading my way." "My, oh my, and will you look at that," the brook replied. "I'm late for an appointment, Ida B. Gotta go, gotta go." "Better talk to the old tree," the brook went on as it rolled away. Yep, that's a good idea," it called as it tumbled over the rocks and around the mountain and was gone. Now, by that time, I'd just about lost my patience with the bunch of them. But talking to the old tree was a good piece of advice, so I didn't mind the brook's rudeness too much. Rufus and I hiked up the mountain, which isn't really a mountain, but hill is just too tiny a word for it, till we got to the old tree that has no...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?